Hey parents, wanted to follow up with you regarding talking to your kids about sexuality. It's summer, so you're going to be exposed to these questions by your kids. So we had in a previous video uh, talking about sexuality and homosexuality with 2 to 5 year olds, but here we're going to talk about elementary aged, so 6 to 12 year old teenagers. So they should already have a pretty good understanding of what are private parts, that they are different, that there are two types of private parts, and those two types have a gender assigned to them in the book of Genesis. God assigns those things a name. So, male, boy private parts are male. They are assigned by God. He has the ultimate authority to do that because He is the creator of those things. And female to be woman. So woman private parts or girl private parts are female private parts, and God gives us that. He establishes that through His Word, and He is the ultimate authority that is able to do that. So we cannot change, we cannot distort that, we cannot change those things. We don't have that authority. Now, people might try to do that because of sin, and when your elementary teenager, 6 to 12 year olds, so there's very different kinds of questions that might come and different responses that might be appropriate depending on their maturity level. They might see something, a gay parade, or something on TV, or even a rainbow flag, and they might say, "Daddy, what is that? Why is that? What does that mean?" Or someone told me that they're gay or whatever. So you can begin to start the conversation regarding that by saying this concept of romantic attraction. So romantic attraction and the word design, God's design, is going to be your keys here. They're very important because in the book of Genesis, God's design, God has planned marriage to be between a romantic relationship between a man and a woman. Not simply that they like each other, because again, you don't want to tell your son, who is a 10-year-old, for example, say, well, gay means when two boys like each other. Because he says, well, I like boys. I like hanging out with boys, then I'm gay. So don't do that, because that'll confuse the child more. So you want to give clarity by saying God's design in the book of Genesis, and you want to establish the word as the authority and saying God designed, God planned that marriage would be between a man and a woman, and that relationship would be a romantic relationship, not simply liking each other, but a romantic relationship. And these are categories you can already have, and you can already create if you haven't already. This is the time to start that conversation about what is romance. This is not just liking tacos. This is liking someone in a very different way. It is not liking friends. That's a different kind of love. But a romantic love can also be distorted because of sin. So people might say, well, why is a boy romantically attracted to another boy? And some of you might already have relatives who have come out to be gay and inviting your kids or your family to their gay wedding this June or this July or this summer, whatever. And you can say, why is Uncle Bob marrying Greg? They're two boys, they can't get married. And you say, well, because of sin, they're going against God's plan, going against God's design. And because of sin, they are romantically attracted to each other, but that is not what God approves. God does not approve of this. And so even though society approves of it, society can be wrong, and most often is. So we want to take our children to the authority, back to God, back to His Word, and back even to the creation in the beginning of time. Again, creation is your key. Talking about God's design and talking about God's plan for marriage to be a romantic love, a romantic attraction between a man and a woman. Again, also using the private parts that they've probably already learned in 5th grade. There's only two, and you say the boy has a particular kind of private part, a girl has a particular kind of private part, and those are meant to be within the context of marriage, and they are for marriage. Those are designed for God's glory to be in marriage.